Okay, let's give it a start and let's go and talk about digital transformation and start a webinar. So welcome again. My name is Martin van Dam. I'm a partner at Group 7. Maybe as a personal introduction, even though I think I know quite some of you, I'm not known to everybody. I started my work at Ahold Delhaize quite a time ago after my studies. And for Ahold, I did a bit of retail and a lot of food service. I worked for a company that's currently called Bitfood. And I worked there in customer service, in sales, and in marketing. And in 2000, I started there at Bitfood with e-commerce. And in 2007, I started with my team to develop digital marketing, and we developed a digital marketing plan and a strategy. And actually, Bitfood became a front runner by doing that in digital marketing and e-commerce. 12 years ago, I started my own consultancy on that same topic after I left the company as a director for marketing and e-commerce. I started an own consultancy calling it Group 7. I was first alone. Now I'm with a business partner, which is Caroline Plevier, and 10 consultants in Netherlands and Belgium. We have impact all over Europe, actually. We actually do work for clients outside of Netherlands and Belgium and for quite some international head offices. All around digital marketing and e-commerce. That's basically the topic of our consultancy firm, and we do that only for B2B food. So we're very specific in that, working for B2B food. And still, the focus of the work we do is making our clients front runners. So in 30 minutes, I'm going to talk with you about digital transformation and how to become a front runner in digital. So there's a lot of room to ask questions via Q&A. There will be a room at the end, but there will also be time in between. So feel free to ask all those questions in the Q&A. The Q&A is on top of the screen. I'm pretty sure you will find it. Okay, digital transformation. There were quite some people subscribing to this webinar. This is one of the most visited webinars that we ever did, and that is, I think, because digital marketing and e-commerce are currently the focal points of the marketeers and sales managers in the food service industry. This is really evident in our daily experience. We are a good growing agency, and we hear the ambitions in food service and broader in B2B about digital marketing and digital sales all the time. The question of today is, what does it take to stand out digitally? How can you become a true digital master? Well, there hasn't been extensive research on that. The most notable about it is the research of Professor George Westerman. He's from MIT, which is a well-known university in Cambridge, USA, and is well documented and very accessible. Good to read in his book, Leading Digital. It's quite a recommendation. In Westerman's research, the MIT team explores digital masters. And digital masters is to them an organization. They are organizations that utilize digital innovation better than competition. They outperform their competition in digital marketing and e-commerce, or in using digital technologies, and at the same time, they get a better profit from it and better sales, better profit, just from their digital technology. And after that, after finding those digital masters, they did their research on what are the capabilities that digital masters share. What makes these digital masters stand out? What is it that can clarify that? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. The essence of what he found there is that it's not about the technology as such alone, because actually it is quite easy, relatively easy, to implement new technologies. The difficulty is in using that, utilizing that digital technology in the company. So there's kind of a law out of that saying technology changes rapidly, but organizations change much more slowly, right? So introducing new technology is relatively simple, but successfully using it, that's the thing that requires leadership. That's the complicated part. So the next half hour will be about digital skills on one hand and leadership skills on the other hand. And we will elaborate on that somewhat further. But first, I want to ask you, what's your position? Maybe we can divide this group in three. Do you think you are a high performer, as in you outperform the market both with digital technologies and in profit? Or do you think maybe in 3 years' time, that's the medium, in 3 years' time, I think we can outperform the market because of our digital technologies? Or do you say, well, neither of them. We don't outperform the market with digital technologies, and we will not do that in 3 years' time. I'm quite curious, and there's an easy poll for this. So maybe you can raise your hand if you think you're among that high performers. So please raise your hand if you are among the high performers. Let's have a view on all. How many we see this? Okay, there are not too many. This is something like 10% of the group. Please do the hands down again. And now I'm wondering who says in 3 years' time, I think we will be among the high performers. So you're the medium group. So in 3 years' time, we will outperform on digital, and we will really make extra sales and extra profit. Yeah, okay, raise your hand if you think you're among that group. Okay, there are more coming in. So that is something like, it's almost half, like 40%. Okay, and 50% says, well, it will be challenging to get to that point in 3 years' time already. Okay, well, thank you for participating in this poll. I'll tell you a bit more about the research from Westerman, and I'll do that with some pictures. First, use you to this scheme where you see the digital skills and the leadership skills once again. And Westerman says, well, if you have low digital skills and low leadership skills, you're a beginner in this. If you have high digital skills, but you don't have so much leadership skills, you don't do that much involvement in your organization, you're kind of a fashionista. There was a time that it was fashionable to have an app, like in the times that there was iPhone 1 and iPhone 2. There is a time now to experiment with AI and have your company chatbot. These sometimes are just fashionable things. The whole thing is the good thing is to introduce it to your company, not the conservative things, but the digital things. That's where the digital masters are. Okay, so let's talk a bit further about the digital skills. What actually is it that you need to do, or what you see companies do on digital? And there the research has 3 things. It's speaking about digitizing the operation, using digital to enhance the customer experience and making new business models possible. So in operations, this includes, well, current office automation, maybe capabilities like video and online cooperation, like in Teams or Slack. But it also encompasses reporting and dashboarding via business intelligence or modern CRM systems, marketing automation, these kind of things. If you have that in the back end of your organization, that's kind of improving your operations. If you go to customer experience, this involves things like digital advertising, using online platforms, having a website that's so informative and so inspirational to customers that it really makes you outstanding. Have emailings that are relevant and on time and personalized. Using all kind of sales channels that really reach your customer better. And new business models, actually, you see that in other businesses maybe more often than in ours. There's hardly any traditional travel agency anymore, for example. Well, we don't see that type of disruption in food service yet, but there are some great examples of things that are new in our business, like a customer of ours, which is a Landman in Unibeek, has MyFoodSpot. It's a web shop where you can buy directly from a big brand, Pastridor in this case. Or another customer of ours is Hanos Shop, who has really a shop for their customers, but also for the broad market. So they have their shop now via PostNL or other distributors, delivering it directly to any business in the Netherlands and Belgium. Or maybe the open sales platform of Bees from AB InBev or Foodle. These kind of new business models we see happening. And I go into operations and customer experience a bit further in a minute. Then the other part of the matrix, that's the leadership part. Let's speak about steering based on vision. If you are not that CEO, not that senior manager that's working with let us all try to blossom all kind of initiatives, but really want to guide your organization in the new era, it's important that you have clear vision that you can bring in a good vision story, an ambition story, showing your clear intent and governing it at the same time. So coordinate initiatives, prioritize initiatives, align initiatives. So this is the area where you see governance committees, leadership roles like chief digital officers or shared digital units, where you really centralize all the digital capabilities that you centralize for skill. That's typically in these steering based on vision area. Then there's change management. You need to make people aware. You need to even maybe create some desire to change into this direction. You need to train people. You need to coach people, and also change processes so that you really make sure that that the whole business changes, that you reinforce the change eventually. And the third part is about IT business relationship. This is about IT managers really being part in business issues, supporting the business, right? So we see quite some companies when we come in where IT is not part of the discussion yet. Actually, we usually invite IT managers because we want IT managers to be a business partner. And at the same time, business managers should have a good knowledge of IT. If you are a business manager, you are in sales or in marketing, but you don't really care about the digital possibilities. You don't really care about data-driven. You don't really care about AI. I hope you are very close to retirement, because otherwise you really should, right? So it's important. Business managers should have a good knowledge of IT, and Westerman finds this as a discriminator for digital masters. So 6 topics that make digital masters stand out. I think this is a good point where we can ask Patrick if there's anything on the Q&A already.
No, not yet, Martin, so you can continue the story.
I'm afraid I don't hear you, Patrick. There's not. Okay. Then let's go a bit deeper into operations with some examples. The first example that I want to talk to you about is Kraaienveld. Kraaienveld is a company in Maasland, in het Westland, south of The Hague. And at Kraaienveld, they trade fresh produce, they import and export all over, import from all over the world globally, and export in Europe mainly. And when we came in 2017, the web shop supporting their sales was not functioning well. And so we came in there and we found actually 2 things. There was a technical issue with the underlying data. That's why it only attracted 5 customers until then. And it was also not supported by the team. The reason for that is that the measure for success of the team, of the trade team, the people that were typically buying and selling via the phone, WhatsApp, sometimes email, that measure of success that partially influenced also their salaries, that was measured on their personal sales. That's not a way to get support of a team. So in our project, actually, we took the business need, which was tripling the sales with the same team, but we translated the web shop to a support for personal sales. So it became a tool so that the people of the trade team did not need to book in every order themselves, but still were the personal vendor, the personal advisor, the personal sales rep of that customer. So it had a much better fit with the people that worked at Kraaienveld, and it was a way better support. A second important thing there is the technical need of the underlying data and some problems in the ERP that we solved with new technology. I think we could cover things with technology that wasn't really there before, so we could use some new technical possibilities there. Maybe it's a bit too far to go too deep into that. The tips for tomorrow on operations are for you: rethink possibilities in operations. This is something that's ongoing for quite a while now, digitizing operations. But with new technologies coming in, like AI, like way better possibilities to go along with data, you should ask all your employees again for input, because with new technology, your business ideas can sometimes now be executed. So reassess your backlog again. And then work together with the most cooperative workers, including your digital talents. Actually, at Kraaienveld, we had a great time working with digital talents. Now, one of them now heading both marketing and sales, and about 30 years old. And I also say this not only because of a case, but because we see also from research, so more generally speaking, not only in our practice, that digital talent is usually underused. You can see a lot of digital talent of, let's say, 25 years old, 30 years old, not getting enough responsibilities in innovation projects, and they should. So involve them. And digitize as much as possible, but keep the valuable human contact, right? So even though Group 7 is a digital agency, we are not the people telling you that you should digitize everything. Just not the case. Okay, let's talk a bit about customer experience. Because also customer experience is something that makes Digital Masters stand out. Also a project here, it's a project from McCain, and it's a project that we did for a product which is called the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I still can't really tell about it without smiling. I still love the example. What we actually did is we designed for them a new buying process or a new customer journey. It depends a bit on the perspective. So this is typically the way of looking at it from a Group 7 perspective. We told them how to activate a need and really activate that need in the orientation phase of a customer and explain the solution in a consideration phase and then sell the product. So this is going from selling products just because you're telling that you have an excellent product which is new to more need-driven sales via digital means. And actually, how we do that is by making these kind of designs. It's a little bit small, I'm sure, but you will get the slide deck anyway, so you can look at it later on. What you see here is a service blueprint of a scenario of lead generation. And it's just an example. This is not McCain specific, but it shows you how it works. And the essence is that we both have there in view the front stage, so that's actually what the customer sees, and the backstage, so that is what you do in your company. And there's a very easy example in this service blueprint, going from a social media ad, where the customer sees something interesting or informative, it goes to a website where the customer fills in a form. And then there's a sample box delivered, there's a phone call made, then there's a promo and an order. If you look at this, this is a very typical easy scenario, as in that it's easy to think about it. It's not very creative to think that this could be a very good scenario, but it's extremely complicated to go from a social media channel to a website, to a form in a marketing automation system, to a delivery party, to someone making a relevant phone call, then a promo that finally ends in a web shop of a wholesaler. This is an easy but extremely complicated scenario that actually is something that we work on for many of our clients, and also in this McCain case. And well, you can read it later on for yourself. We did a social media advertising, got quite some reach and clicks, very low cost per click, many users, many newsletters later on sent out. I don't know if you think that 35% open rate is high and a 70% click to open rate, but well, I would be very curious if you have better percentages. I really want to learn from you those best practices. So actually, this is typically what we then do for clients. Going in a campaign from triggering a need all down to the sales and continuous help to a customer. The tips for tomorrow: think of the needs. What are the needs of your customers? So maybe ask your sales team to make a list of unmet customer needs, and go from those unmet customer needs all down to selling a product. And talking about thinking about needs of customers, it's also a good idea to start each meeting with a customer story. Maybe you rotate around the table, or you say this week it's you and next week it's someone else. And as a third one, try and find out where do we complicate lives for customers, because on that point you could make things easier. And usually the difficult customers, so the customers having higher demands, really triggering you to do your utmost, those are the most interesting ones. So look at them. Look at the people that, for example, complain to you more than others. Okay, so that about the digital skills. I didn't go deeper into business models anymore, but the first two: operations, customer experience, business models. Here's the leadership skill. And I took out the IT business relationship because I also said to you that in the invite already that we would talk about new technology a bit. And this new technology story is this time about AI. You can't really ignore it, right? But my examples are not about those chatbot type, ChatGPT type of thing, but are more about machine learning, which is there for a bit longer. And if you haven't done it yet, this is really the time, because that's really mature technology at this moment. I have two examples, but they have something in common. So I'll tell you about it, and then we will find the commonalities. Here's Picnic. What Picnic did is that they recorded the time between customer A and customer B and customer C, and made reports of that. Moreover, what they did was they recorded the time driving from A to B, the time parking at customer B, and the time delivering to customer B. So they reported on that, and then they could say to the delivery guy, you are fast, or you should be faster, or they could help him. They could help him a bit doing better there. What they do now, and they started with that very early, as Picnic is a very technology-driven company, is that they predict on that. And you cannot really predict this with Google Maps, because you need that parking time, that delivery time. But they can now predict on their own data how long it will take from customer A to customer B. And now the very good prediction of the delivery time to you as a customer is a great USP for Picnic, and it satisfies Picnic customers. It's really a thing people are fond about. Then there's AB InBev. And what AB InBev is doing, I think already for years, is finding out what are the typical profile details of every outlet. How big is it? How much beer is on the tap? What segment, etc. And of course, I think already for years also, they record what kind of beers do they buy. What they do now is they predict what would be the best thing for that restaurant, pub, cafe, etc. So they predict the perfect assortment. So the commonality is there, that you look at what are reports made about in your organization. What do you report looking back? And assess with your IT colleagues whether you could make a prediction about it. And would it be useful for you? and then set up a small and impactful AI project. And I say deliberately impactful here because we see customers having very small minor things. Like I use ChatGPT, but well, that's not official. No, do impactful AI projects and make it shine in the company. It's important to have these new technologies in your company and become a front runner. And do that working of course, in a cross-functional team, business and IT working together, and also leadership and execution. And in execution, you usually have these younger people, those digital talents. So that about leadership skills. So I gave you some example about digital. I gave you some examples about the leadership that you may need. And actually, Westerman did some research on who belongs in which quadrant. And this is, by the way, global research, but also not food specific. So let's be honest on that. So the good thing is that usually food is not really a front runner in digital. It's, we can safely say that, right? So the numbers here will be a bit different. The assumption is that digital masters, 34%, will really not be more in food. It's more likely that it's a bit lower. So there's still a good chance that you will be among the digital masters. You're not really very late in this area. Well, I gave you tips. What I also give you is our approach. So this is how we do it for companies, and this is how we do this, for example, in the McCain Continental Europe program. So we do this all over Europe. The McCain people are also here in this call. Very happy that you're here. So let's talk a bit about these digital pillars. This first, digital execution. Actually, for us, it's also a starting point because we are not the type of company that makes lengthy reports, extensive reports, but we start doing early. So what we do is go for customer insights. So have data that can tell us something about the customer, but maybe also have surveys that tell us things about the customer. Build personas on that so that we can at least segment on different needs. Build customer journeys for different personas, or even further personalized than just the personas. And as soon as you start personalizing, you see that you can go deeper and deeper every time. Build lead generation and lead nurture campaigns, or could also have put here customer growth campaigns and retention campaigns. For sales, do lead qualification in order to make sure that the leads that come out of the campaigns are only followed up if they are promising enough and valuable enough. And build a business case for that, because it can be quite an investment. We also do the customer architecture, so the digital architecture. So we do customer data, marketing automation, sales CRM, and getting it all connected. We're commercial people, but there's a very good understanding of what's digitally possible. And then the third pillar is digital organization. So we can help the sponsor, and we did at McCain help the sponsor with his vision story. Help the sponsor with her connection to the teams. What we did is change management, so making everybody aware, creating some desire to join. What we found is even something like a volunteer army of people asking to be part of the movement. I think that's really the hotspot. That's what you want. Develop the training program. So sometimes people ask, what a strange company you have. It's about digital marketing and e-commerce, but you also say that you know about IT and that you also know about change management. But this is the reason we are a digital transformation company, and we need to help you with that. It's not that every consultant at Group 7 can do all three, but in the team we make sure that we have every capability there on board. So before we go to the Q&A, there's the next step for you, which is you get the slide deck, and I would recommend talk about it today or tomorrow. If you don't talk about it today or tomorrow with a colleague, it will go to the back of your mind, go out of your mind anyway. So get the slide deck, talk about it. Use our tips. And what you also can do, if you want, send us a message, a mail, a chat, a WhatsApp, if you maybe are curious about our customer cases. And it's not that we can talk about every customer case, but some we have the ability to talk about it. We are allowed to talk about it. But we can always talk about our own methods, right? And if you like to discuss your own ambitions with us, always feel free to do that and have a kind of a sparring. Because we actually think that is one of the nicest things we have in our business. So in the meantime, I show you the contact details, and I'm going to look at the Q&A together with Patrick.
I don't know if you can hear me now.
It's a bit of a pity that that I can't hear Patrick even with my speaker on.
I don't know. Martin,
in the chat, I can read them. So Patrick, thank you for being here. Yeah, and it's the co-organizer here, Tura, tells me that it's only my problem, that other people hear Patrick. So that's a good thing. What I see here, Chris asking, what about new regulations as a driver for digitalization? Okay. I saw that question coming in with the delivery guy or picnic on the screen, but this is a different driver. Our new regulation, yes, that this is sometimes happening, and well, one thing, for example, is that we see that the regulations on what you should actually display about your products, like allergens, ingredients, nutritional values, these things. Well, they require usually good product information data systems. I'm a bit triggered also to them because Chris is from PIM vendors. Actually, I don't see that more often, so I don't have another example that quick. But this is really an example. It was really a driver for product information processes and improvement on that these regulations got stricter a few years ago. What was the need for the red hot chili peppers? Actually, to be honest with you here, Geert, the social media ad, I'm pretty sure you saw it in the advertising, was fun instead of a typical need. So we didn't really show you the need. And actually, it depends a bit on which country you talk about, because in some countries it's it's far more common to have this kind of appetizers as a side dish, and then the need, but not in the example we showed, but in other campaigns, the need for this kind of product is upsell. So you order a dish with the burger and fries, for example, and then you have these kind of snackies as a snack besides it. But it depends on country. So this is country specific. How we trigger that need. Sometimes we used fun. Mariette Veld asked which CRM system. In the McCain case, it's Salesforce. We work there with Salesforce Marketing Cloud and Sales Cloud, and some other parts of the whole stack there. These are the two most important ones, and we are still further developing that with the global digital team working on that, who is present, by the way. Actually, we see Salesforce and HubSpot most often in our projects, and well, as you would expect, we are able to operate them both. And we use Keep, which is a system that we use ourselves, and that we can well, we can help you with the licensing and stuff. But the most advanced definitely is Salesforce in this area. Roamler Sales Map. See it occasionally. Roamler is excellent with the data they provide for food service. Also, I think excellent in quite some processes where you can request roamlers to visit stores, for example. If you are in petrol and want to see if how your product is presented in the store, great to have a roamler doing that check. But Sales Map is something that we usually see as something that is the old CRM system, and that our customers go to something that's well, with more new technology, new functionality. But it happens. It's still functional to quite a good level. I think that was from the chat, and the Q&A, which is in a Teams webinar, something different. So there's two places where we need to look. There's a question. I'm a Salesforce developer transitioning to become a digital marketing expert. What kind of skills do I need to develop? Well, what I would say is at the business side, it would be a good skill to start at being able to identify customer insights. That's really where we think everything starts. So if you understand the deeper need of a customer, and you're able then to connect that to a benefit that your product or service can bring, I think that's a great thing. So being able to derive from data surveys, from real life experiences, that customer experience, and really have that as a starting point, I think that then it goes. You can go further, and then well, actually comes the part of that you design a customer journey. So I think you should develop the skill of operating all those touch points. So I hope that helps a bit, and always open to elaborate on that. Like the question. Anything else? Going to look at the time. There is still time, but there's no need to fill it up if we have done all the questions. So I don't see anything anymore in the chat. I also don't see anything happen anymore in the Q&A. So if there is anything that you want to discuss, maybe more just amongst us, I think that that is something that can happen often, because there are very specific things to your business, your company. Feel free to send us a message. We're here to help many of you, our customers, but also for the others, if you're not yet. Feel free to give that call and or send that message, and open to talk and discuss. Thank you very much for joining us for this lunch. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you maybe in another webinar. I look at Patrick. Maybe it's a nice idea to also incorporate in the mail that there's a next webinar on lead generation and lead nurturing. It's once again in English, so all of you will be able to follow. So thanks very much, and hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Patrick.
Thank you.